Live series of the 2024 elections. Today's video, I'm focusing on the presidential race in the state of Idaho. Idaho, a state that was won by Donald Trump in 2020 with a margin of victory of 30.8% of the vote. It was also won by Trump in 2016 by 31.8% of the vote. And it was won by Mitt Romney in 2012 by 31.9% of the vote. As for the current polling in the race right now, it is not applicable. I've not been able to find any polling or polling averages in the state of Idaho, so that will not be able to be factored in when it comes time to make a prediction, but that's all right. We do have some other factors to look at that will help us make a prediction in the state. And as for an average margin of victory across the last three elections, it is an average Republican win of 31.5%. And looking at the national vote across the last three presidential elections, in 2020, Joe Biden won the popular vote by 4.4%. 2016, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2.1%. 2012, the popular vote was won by Barack Obama by 3.9%. The current polling average right now on Real Clear Politics, as of the time I'm recording this, is 2.2% advantage for Kamala Harris in the popular vote. This also, the last three elections, gives a margin of victory for the popular vote of 3.5%. So when you compare the way Idaho votes to the national vote in the popular vote, of the last three national elections, Idaho in 2020 voted 35.2% more Republican than the popular vote. In 2016, Idaho voted 33.9% more Republican than the popular vote. In 2012, Idaho voted 35.8% more Republican than the popular vote. This ended up giving the average popular vote advantage for the state over the popular vote of 35 points. Idaho typically votes 35 points more Republican than the popular vote based on the last three presidential elections. Now for some forecasts in the state of Idaho for the 2024 presidential election. Real Clear Politics has Idaho as solid Republican. Sabado's Crystal Ball has Idaho as safe Republican. Inside Elections has Idaho as solid Republican. Decision Desk HQ and The Hill has Idaho as safe Republican. The Cook Political Report also has it as solid Republican. Lots of agreement in the forecast that Idaho will be a big Republican win and big Republican state. Now for some key counties across Idaho that I am watching for. In Valley County, it was won by Mitt Romney in 2012 by 11.6%, won by Trump in 2016 by 18.6%, and then won by Trump by 13.7%. And the reason I'm looking at this county is because it seemed in 2016 it went down about 5 percentage points for Trump from 2016 to 2020. And we've seen in some of the earlier videos we've done in the deep dive series in presidential elections, a lot of states have these counties where Trump's numbers from 2016 weren't as good as they were in 2020 in some of these Republican counties. And now I'm interested to see, will that continue in 2024, or will Trump be able to basically turn that around and not make that a factor in this election? Valley County is one where I think a Kamala Harris losing the county by 7 or 8 points could be very significant and a sign the Democrats are gaining rapidly in that county. But on the flip side, if Trump wins the county by 13.7 or even goes up, then I think it could be a sign that Trump has kind of stopped the bleeding in that situation and he's running about the same he did in 2020 in that county and potentially in that state. So that's an interesting one I'm watching for. Now in Ada County, where this is where Boise, the capital, is locating, it was voted for Romney in 2012 by 11.3%, for Trump by 9.2% in 2016, and only for Trump by 3.9% in 2020. And I think this is one that's certainly following a similar trend like Maricopa County in Arizona, where it continues to get less and less Republican as more elections go on. Surely there's going to be a lot of people moving into Ada County where a lot of people live, and it'll be interesting to watch an election night. Does it flip for Kamala Harris? It flipped by about almost 5 to 6 points from 2016 to 2020. If that continued, that would be enough for Harris to win this county by about 1 or 2. So that'll be one to watch for. Or can Trump maybe make some gains in those counties and potentially mitigate potential losses there that he got from 2016 to 2020? It also is worth noting that from Romney to Trump, it went down 2 points. So every election with Trump on the ballot, this county has gotten less and less red. So will 2024 be a continuation of that? Or will Trump find a way to make an exception out of it and make him be able to gain in this county. That remains to be seen, but that's certainly an interesting one I am watching for. In Teton County, it was a Romney plus 11.8% county. 2016, it was only a Trump 0.2% county. 2020, it swung 7 points to Biden plus 7.2. This one, for obvious reasons, I'm interested in because look at how massive of a jump it did between election years. About 11.6% drop for Republicans from 2012 to 2016, and then a 7-point gain for Democrats from 2016 to 2020. I am very fascinated to see what this county does in 2024, because if it continues the trend of having a massive polling jump, or election jump, who knows what the county could be. It could even drop, if Trump does well, it could drop back down to Trump's column. If Harris does well, this could go up to like 15 points for a Democratic win. So this county is really all over the place, and I'm very interested to see how this one goes. In Latah County, where it's 4.3% for Obama in 2012, 4.6% for Clinton in 2016, and only 3.7% for Biden in 2020. This is remained a very close competitive district that's voted for the Democrats. Certainly one I would characterize as a lean district, under 5% of the vote, but over 1 to 1.5% of the vote. Latah I'm watching for because it did go down by about 0.9% in 2020 from 2016. I'm interested to see how Kamala Harris is performing in this county, because this could be a very key suburban county that, like some others across the country, could give potential insight into how other swing counties around the country could potentially be doing. For instance, if Trump is winning this county, I think that's a very good sign. Trump is overperforming in a lot of suburban areas and potentially some rural areas as well and improving his numbers. If Harris is winning this county by about 3.7%, we can assume that she's probably doing about the same that Joe Biden did in 2020 in the suburban areas and hasn't lost too much support. Whereas if she's overperforming in this county and she's up to like 5 or 6%, that could be a sign she's overperforming Joe Biden's numbers in the suburbs in 2020, and that could certainly have important ramifications for how several states will go on election night. So that's an interesting one to watch for in terms of how the votes will go. And for the final county, Blaine County, this is a very big Democratic county where a lot of Democratic votes are. I chose to look at it though because, again, look at the sizable jumps of 8.6% from 2012 to 2016, and then about another 8% from 2016 to 2020. I'm fascinated to see, does that trend continue? Does it slow down, or does it increase more? Another 8% jump in 2020 from 2024. That could be a very interesting thing to watch. So I'm watching Blaine County very closely as well. Now for the Republican vote percentage in the state of Idaho. In 2020, Donald Trump got 63.8%. 2016, Trump got 59.3%. And in 2012, Romney got 64.5%. I conducted a range of these last three presidential elections to help predict 2024, where on the high end and the low end, after getting the difference and adding and subtracting it, we have a low end of 54.1% to a high end of 69.7%. My personal prediction for 2024 is Trump gets about 64.2% of the vote, slightly better than he got in 2020, not as good as Romney got in 2012. 64.2% is what I'm predicting Trump will get on election night in 2024. On the Democratic side, Joe Biden got 33.1% in 2020. 2016, Hillary Clinton got 27.5%. 2012, Barack Obama got 32.6%. Same thing, I conducted a range analysis where I subtracted the highest total from the lowest total, got the margin difference, and added it and subtracted it to the highest and lowest totals. That gets a low point of Idaho for the Democrat at 21.9, a high point for the Democrat of 38.7. And in my personal prediction, I have Kamala Harris getting 33.5% in the state of Idaho, improving her numbers from Joe Biden's numbers in 2020 by 0.4%. As I talked about when going over the counties, I think a few of these polling jumps, maybe like an extra 1 to 2 percentage points on a few of these counties here and there, would be enough to raise her total statewide at least a few percent or tenths of percentage points and give the Democrats one of the best performances in the state of Idaho, even though they're still going to lose the state by a large margin. I think these little marginal gains could be signs of potential future Democratic small growth in the state. That's all conversations for a different day, but I think Harris will get about 33.5%. So now for the state of Idaho, my 2024 prediction for its 4 electoral votes, I have Donald Trump winning 64.2% of the vote, Kamala Harris getting 33.5% with a margin of victory of 30.7% of the vote in the state of Iowa. That's not too dissimilar from 2020. It's 0.1% less than the margin of victory from 2020. So Harris slightly outperforms Biden, and Trump performs pretty similarly in the state, enough to make up a 0.1% difference in Idaho. So that's how I have the election going: 64.2 for Trump, 33.5 for Harris. Now looking at the 2024 electoral map of all the videos I've done at the presidential level, I've now done 6 states. 4 of them have gone for Kamala Harris: Washington, Oregon, California, and Hawaii. 2 of them have now gone for Donald Trump: the state of Alaska and the state today of Idaho. This gets Harris at 81 electoral votes, Donald Trump at 7 electoral votes, and we have a long way to go leading up until Election Day before we have all these states filled in. So please remember to stay tuned for that. And also, please remember to stay tuned. I am going to show you a sneak peek of my 2024 election night, where I go over and make a call in the state of Idaho. So please stay tuned for that. Please enjoy. It is officially now 11 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings in 4 very important Pacific Coast states, including the states of California, Idaho, Oregon, and the state of Washington. All of these states, we have a pretty good idea of how they're going to vote, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump in and make some very important projections. In the state of Idaho, Donald Trump has won its 4 electoral votes handily. Idaho goes for Trump. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned, because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day, so I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.